The clock struck 12 a.m. As I slid into another birthday, I laid there and I asked myself, what have I done with these years? What difference can I make? What would I say to the younger me? Come on this journey with me so that I can share my journey, others' journeys, hoping that you will get something out of it and that you'll be better for it. Learn from the mistakes and not make them again. Leave a legacy and serve where you can. Welcome to the Younger Me podcast. Welcome to the Younger Me podcast. Hi, I am smiling because I have my favorite guy on the couch with me today. I told you that at some point I was going to introduce my husband. I believe my soulmate, my better half, or my other half, whichever way we want to put it. Welcome, Dwight.
It's good to be here.
Younger Me podcast. I'm a little nervous because maybe it's not even nervous. I think I'm blushing because I still blush over him after 25 years of knowing him and being with him, and highs and lows and tears and likes and dislikes and learning being his girlfriend and being his wife and being his partner and friend, and most importantly being his friend and liking him when I don't feel like I want to like him anymore. So welcome, Dwight. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, first, it's good to be in your podcast. It's a pleasure to be invited. But a little bit about myself. Went to San Diego High School.
Where were you born?
I was born and raised in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Okay, of course. You know, went to San Diego High School, run track. Which I really, really love, which I wish I've did it some more, but God knows the reason why. Can be quiet at times, but my quietness comes from a place of just being humble, being an observative person, I would say. But yeah, I met this beautiful thing. Beautiful creature, whichever way you guys want to put it. She's beautiful, and she bring out different things in me. So yeah, a little bit about myself, but there's more to come.
Glad to hear that. Okay, so we met in high school. You heard it. I met him in 2O. That was the classroom that he was in. And how I happened to meet him in 2O, because I'm a little bit older than he is, because we used to change in the girls' bathroom for training. And this was at the end of our training season for track and field. And so a few of us would still be training because we would have made the Jamaica team as juniors, and we're getting ready to continue with our training with our high school coach then for the games that were coming up. And so as a track team, before champs, boys and girls champs specifically, we would change our clothes in the girls' bathroom, and then we'll bring our clothes to this common room, a classroom on our school campus. And then we would go out to practice. Now, what happened is that during this time, the season was finished for most athletes. So because it was finished, we would still be training and would have to bring our clothes into the room. And I walked into the room and he was in there. And I noticed him. But in noticing him, he was with one of our high school friends. Lacking for Bana. We call him Bana by just easy to call him that. And we just got comfortable with that name. And so I knew Bana, and I said to him, "Is that your friend?" And he's like, yeah, Doobie's my friend. Dwight is my they're teammates. They ran track together. They were on the same 4x1 team, competed against each other, but also was, a team, a 4x1 relay team when it came to the event. And so I told Bana at the time that I liked him. It's crazy to say that I liked him from then because I didn't know him. But there was something about you, Dwight, that I saw then that I just knew that I wanted to get to know him. And I remember walking over and I was like, what are you guys doing in this classroom? Do you know this is where the girls change? And I had a little bit of an attitude because I wanted to see that I was strong and I was bossy. But still kind of trying to let him know that, okay, I like you. But probably was the wrong approach because it was kind of forward. But I did that to get his attention. I don't remember if I did get your attention. Did I? I can't remember what happened.
I can't really remember exactly what happened because I did not know. I've
You
seen
didn't know
her.
that I liked you.
Yeah, I didn't know she liked me or anything, but I've seen her. Of course, she's a little bit older, so I'm not even thinking along that lines. As like you would call like a freshman compared to like a sophomore.
Yeah,
if you
that's
would put it.
practically what it was. Because I was in third form and he was in second form.
And for those who don't know what that means, grade 7
That's eighth
and 8th grade.
Right. No, you were in
7th grade.
8th grade and I was in
8th grade, she was
ninth
in
grade.
9th grade. Yeah.
Right, because I didn't know you when you were in first form. First form meaning 7th grade. And Bana kind of orchestrated a lot of the getting to know situation, and then I heard that he's this track star on the boys track team, and I wanted to know him. And so in every way I would try to kind of be in his face. I would give, my friend, our friend, Bana, just those signals that would make it easier for us to get to know each other. I remember, it's so funny as I'm thinking about it, when we kind of officially started dating was June 10th, because we knew each other before, but we didn't put an item on it because we were getting to know each other. We met each other the June, and somewhere in that summer when school was closing, and then he was going away. He was traveling because he would travel and go see his parents every summer. And then I remember he came back, and of course, as a girl, they're panting over this guy to hurry up and come back. He came back, and it was that we were talking for a while. And then I remember after talking, we said, you know what, let's kind of make it official the next year, when I think it was just something that we agreed upon.
Let me also chime in.
Please
we're
do.
talking about what, 1999, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
When you think about the communication side of it, cell phone was nothing, right? We used to use a phone booth. So
I had a house phone. I was not using a phone booth.
Yeah, well, I use a phone booth. So what I would do, I know my mom sometimes keeps these little pennies or whatever jingles somewhere. So I would go and I would take it. I would go down the street and go on the phone to make my phone call just to talk to her, because that's pretty much the line of communication. I mean, I was 14, 15. I'm not gonna like try to go to her house or anything. That's not gonna happen. When I said that's not gonna happen, like not with her parents.
That was not going to happen.
That's not gonna happen. So
there was no way you'd be thinking about a boy.
Yep. So the line of communication
in high
was
school.
like, hey, I'm gonna use a phone booth. Which I think it's unique. Just it kind of also tells you how important communication is, and then it also tells you that when somebody's for you, you would not. I want to say the extra mile.
You'd press, be
You're gonna
persistent.
press,
Yeah.
and you're gonna show up and prove to that person that I'm serious. Even though at 14, like, what do you know about being serious?
Yeah, because I was going to say that, because even though we were kind of officially dating, of course, with rules and restriction, because we lived in our parents' houses, but as I think about it, there was a time when he was trying to still figure himself out, because I remember telling you I loved you,
Yeah.
and
I was like, okay.
it was not reciprocated. He was, and I kept pressing. I'm like, I love you, Dwight. I love you, Dwight. And he was,
I'm like, okay. Because for me, then, I mean, I was trying to still figure out, like, do I want to be with this girl, or not? But given the fact that, like I said, like, I'm gonna keep on saying it, like, we're young, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be interested, because for me personally, I always wanna be married and have a family, and I always like what type of woman I want to marry. So, and she showed a lot of those characteristics that I like.
but you weren't sure it was love.
But I mean, the love thing for me, then I'm like, I'm not gonna like, I love you, but I'm not gonna lie, because I didn't at the time, but I definitely liked her. That's not even a question, and I'm gonna like go a little bit further, in a story where she always asks me, like, don't you love me? I would bluntly say no, because that was just the truth. I'm not gonna say I love you just because knowing that I don't, so it literally took me, I would say, 2 years to say, yeah, I love you. It literally took me 2 years, because I believe like is so important in a relationship, that you have to like the person. And speaking from a man perspective, when you look at a female, you're gonna like what you see. You can't. I don't think you can love what you see, but that's just my opinion. I don't think you're gonna love what you see, but you're gonna like what you see, because you're gonna always like that person, because you could love something about that person, but if that one thing that you love, I think, vanishes, then what's gonna happen? So I think liking that person first, which I did with her, is key to what we have now.
And you said something that's so important, because when you say liking someone, and it's not what you see, it's the characteristics about the person, that someone, it's so important, because we've been to, and we're just moving forward on this, but we've been together for 25 years, and we've been married for 16 years.
16.
And in those years, now, I would be a little bit smaller, had some more muscles from running track and college, and then you have a kid, and then life happens, and you realize you understand what your parents, your mom or your dad and your loved ones and those people that mentor you and speak over you talk about when they say live, and when they say you'll understand when you're getting older, you're young, you don't understand yet, because some of the time I want to just snatch this body back together and be the girl in high school that you fell in love with, or the girl in college. But that's not the case, because we get older. As long as you're alive, you're going to get older. And things are going to change. And the way you've met me and fell in love with me and how we've grown over time, a lot has changed. Because I remember him being this skinny guy. Oh my God. He was so skinny. And look at him now. I would have never thought that he would have gained more weight compared to how small tiny Dwight was. But it shows that over time, things changes. And, you know, if I would tell the younger me, though, what would I change? And I'm on a journey, even in that. I would not binge eat all the time. Because there are times when I want to have a snack. And I'll have that snack. And now I'm like, God, I wish I had not had the snack. Even though it's good. And it's not as easy to lose the weight. Unless genetically you're built that way. And that's just my experience to speak to that.
But the key thing, one of the key things that you just mentioned is about liking is not the physical thing that you really like, but is the characteristic of that person.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because once that person have that same characteristic, which it doesn't, I think that's the one thing that doesn't change from any one person, is their character. That character remain. The only thing you could do is add more to it. So
Yeah.
even when
That's not good. Okay, so even when.
So even when, like you mentioned, the body changes, the character doesn't change.
Yeah, that's
Right?
important, guys.
So if you like the person, you gotta like the characteristic of that person. But again, I could say from a man point of view, what you see is the physical part. You get attracted to the physical part. So that's the difference between liking the person, their characteristic, and being attracted to the person's physical part. Because what holds weight is the characteristic, of not so much of the physical. So yeah, because a woman body is going to change. A man body change as well.
It does.
You know, like you said, I'm not that skinny guy again. You know, I got some pounds on me, but
I like it.
you still like it.
I like it. I actually love this better than the high school skinny guy. It was too small, but age and time. You know, one of the things that I remembered about our relationship in high school, and we were young, we definitely didn't even know what was going to happen after high school, if we were still going to be together. And all of that, I can tell you, God orchestrated that. But we're going to unpack that as we go through this journey. But one of the things that I really admired about you was, I remember when school had started and you came back home, because you would have normally visited your parents, and you had on this really nice watch. You remember that story?
Oh yeah. I totally forgot about that story, because that literally, that's the day that marked the official date. I was like, yeah, we're gonna do this, which is June 10, 1998.
Yeah.
School was over, as it says that the day. School was over that day, and we were just playing around, talking.
And the school
The school field.
Yeah.
Being the young kids that we were.
School we're at the end of the school year. Yeah, coming up to the end.
And she threw a pebbles at me. Keep on throwing pebbles. So you know that's.
Yeah, I was throwing pebbles.
That's that little love pebbles though.
I was trying to be cute, but playing with him at the same time.
Yeah, and she broke my watch. But I didn't think much of she breaking my watch more, because it's just a thing. It's a watch.
For me that day, I felt so bad, because I know it was, you know, it meant a lot to you, because I remember when you traveled and came back, and, you know, it was a nice watch. And it's so funny that you raised your hand and the pebble landed right on the face of the watch, guys, and smashed it. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? But your response was so amazing, Dwight, because it made me understand and realize that I meant more than your watch. Because you didn't get upset, didn't use the right word or the wrong word. You told me it was okay. And that's when I was even more assured that you were the one. And so I'm so grateful that the older me now, studying the younger me, you made a good choice. I made a good choice.
Oh man, I mean I don't even know if made a good choice is the right way to put it. Um, but as we talk about how we meet in our relationship, it's not coincident.
It really
It's
isn't.
not coincident.
Yes.
Okay, because
Speak to that.
the family knew each other even before we knew each
guys.
other. Because my aunt used to work at the airport. She no longer does. I mean, she retired
At the post office.
It's the post office. I'm saying the airport.
Yeah.
Sorry. At the post office,
In
she
Spanish
knew
Town, guys.
Roseann mom. She knew.
No, my sister.
Rosann's sister. Yeah.
Yeah, she knew my sister a long time.
Before probably we were even born.
Yeah.
So.
and she also knew my mom. And it's crazy. I'm sorry, I'm taking over the story, but it's crazy.
Yeah. And the church that her mom used to go to, that's the church that my mom used to go to.
And one of your grandmothers.
Yeah, used to go to that same church.
Because my parents moved to this new community and was worshiping at this church that his mom worshipped at and his grandmother worshipped at. It is crazy how, the scripture that says, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you.
Yep.
Guys.
He has plans and hopes.
God has plans. He has a destiny. It's predestined. I was predestined to be his wife. Not that it's perfect, but it was meant to be. Because in the relationship that was formed before we knew each other, it made our relationship much easier. And I think because it made our relationship because of the family coming together and knowing each other and having that level of respect without us being in a relationship, there was just a level of respect. There was a level of love because your aunt, and I'm going to give her a shout out on here, Auntie Elaine, she's just a warm, fuzzy, cuddly aunt. She's always been. And my mom knew her and had such an amazing relationship with her. And she was such a big impact to my family, to my mother and to my sister. And so there was no reservation when they actually found out who's who. It made it easier, y'all.
Yeah.
It made it easier. And because that made it easier, it caused our commitment to each other easier. It made accountability even much more important because your family knew my family and my family knew your family.
Yeah.
It goes back to, I remember at this, when you came to my house to meet my parents, because they've heard about Dwight, but they never met Dwight. And my dad was not having it. I am the last girl. And he just said, uh-uh. Samuel was not going to have his daughter dating no boy. As I'm thinking about it, it's important for you to have family and friends that support your relationship. I knew then when I met you that you were the one. I know now that you're still the one. The relationship with my sister Grace and your aunt Elaine, and then my mom finding out that there was relationship there, and then how there was relationship at the church. It made our coming together easier. And in finding out that, for me, I was even more confident in knowing that you are my husband and you're for me and God ordained it. And so I have to be intentional, and I was intentional then and now. And it wasn't always perfect because we were in different places at different times sometime. And we'll talk about those things as we go unpack our relationship. But when I think back to the younger me, I'm so glad that I made the choice and I stuck with it. I'm so glad that my family supported me and accepted you, because I don't regret that decision. I don't regret choosing you. And I'm grateful for where we are today. And I don't know if you have any final words.
I mean, it's like I said, it's so much. We could go on all night, all day. Um, but we just want to share the beginning of it, and pretty much kind of unpack like why we chose each other, why we choose each other to be a lifeline partner. And there's so much that I want to talk about right now, but
we have time.
We have some time.
We have time. By the grace of God, we have time.
But I'm gonna leave you guys with this. If and when, for those who are already been married, for those who are looking to get married, understand that your spouse, I'm gonna say this, your spouse is your dating. No, it's just your spouse. Understand that your spouse is your life, and what I mean by your spouse is your life, like everything that that surrounds that, your job, even your kids or your children, they are a part of your life. Okay, because never forget the vows that is being made, that through sickness and health till death do us part. That means for the rest of your life. And it's funny, I'm sorry, I want to end it, but I just gotta just talk about this a little bit. It's so funny when somebody proposes to a person, and one of the key things they always says, will you share your rest of your life with me? All right, so anybody who's looking to get married, and if you're already married, just understand that your spouse is your life, and everything that comes around it, beside it, good, it's a part
of the covenant.
Life. Yeah,
it's a part of the covenant. It's a part of the commitment.
Yeah,
and I think you could say that now because we've matured.
Yeah,
We've experienced some things. We've had our highs and our lows. But in spite of all of that, we've been committed to each other.
Yeah.
We've stayed committed to each other. And I choose you.
And I choose you.
And that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching the Younger Me podcast. I hope you'll share this video with someone. I hope you'll learn something. And hit the notification button so that when the next video drops, you will be the first to be notified of our next podcast. To the Younger Me. Thank you, guys.